we invite you to close your eyes, just relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganganapataye namo namaha. Ganganapataye namo namaha. Ganganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Ganganapataye namo namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganganapataye namo namaha. 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 Ganganapataye, Ganganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Ganganapataye namo namaha. 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 Om Vakratundaya Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvigyam Kuru Me Deva Sara Karyeshu Sarvada. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Suklam Bharadram Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturvujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word, literally means community of truth, but you could call it a spiritual community, wherever two or more people who are on the path of awakening, the flowering of the heart, spiritual transformation, join together to share their journeys, to share their presence. We have a satsang. And we're deeply strengthened by coming together like that. The presence that we experience is multiplied exponentially. And so we're really glad you're here tonight. We're joined by many, many more people between one Monday night and the next who have different time schedules, different time zones and responsibilities. And so we want to remember that it's a much bigger group than it seems sometimes. And all through the satsang, we're sharing the flowering heart blessing, which is a direct transmission of divine grace, light, presence, awakened consciousness that catalyzes awakening in the receiver. When the divine showed Suzanne and me this blessing about 8 years ago.
Almost 9.
Almost 9. It's been around forever, I'm sure, but the divine just showed it to us going on 9 years ago, and said that this manifestation of blessing is directly from me, and it's free. It's a gift of grace, so just give it away. And tell people when they receive it, they're fully initiated to be able to share it, which is beautiful. And you're soaking in it right now. So if you like the space, the energy, you want to offer yourself to the divine as an instrument, a vessel of grace, just do, please, and join us from now on through the webcast in flowing out the flowering heart blessing to all the people that join us tonight and those that will be viewing in the next week and those that may watch this recording. People sometimes tune in and watch these things months or even years down the road and experience the very same presence because it's spirit. It's not, we sometimes talk about it as divine energy, and there is energy, but energy is frequency and it takes time to move through space. But spirit is everywhere present simultaneously without time and without separation, meaning that if the divine is blessing right now, then if someone tunes into this video recording 10 years from now, they would experience being here now with us because it's eternal. So please join us. We begin these webcasts with a few minutes of silent meditation as the music plays. We love that particular mantra, the Ganesha mantra, an aspect of the divine that's a chubby, funny boy with an elephant's head. And he's an aspect of the divine that removes obstacles out of the way of people on the path. And it's just a fun, approachable, playful manifestation of the divine that's very popular in India and kind of popular with us too. So we play that for about 10 minutes and meditate together. And then we open it to questions and answers on the spiritual journey. So look inside and ask if there's something that you might put in the chat on Facebook Live or Vimeo, and that will stimulate the conversation tonight and the inspiration of the divine. Anything you'd like more light or clarity on. I said I will always answer the hard questions. Evidently, I've compromised a couple times when I don't want to answer that. But we did anyway eventually, so I don't think we've ever turned away from any question, however tough or controversial or ignorant we were of the answer. We just go on the inside, okay, what should we say to our community tonight? And something beautiful always comes through. So look inside and ask if there might be a question that you could post that would help you and help everyone else, because the spiritual journey, while each of our paths is unique for sure, you can't look at someone else's journey and try to pattern yours after them. The divine will play with you and make yours different. But as the path continues, we all go through similar ups and downs and face similar challenges. So whatever you're going through, whatever question you ask, it will help all of us. So while you're considering that, I like to share quotes. And tonight I chose, these come from a website, inspiringquotes.com. A group of authors write these brief articles on interesting topics. And tonight I chose 9 quotes why fitting in is overrated. I really like this. This was put together by Nicole Villanueva, a writer, thrift store lover. We relate to that. And group chat meme spammer based in Ontario, Canada. So here's what she writes about why fitting in is overrated. Most of us will experience times in our lives when we feel like we don't fit in, feeling out of place, whether it's in school, in social situations, or within our own families. It makes us feel inadequate, disheartened, isolated, or downright awkward. Acceptance from others can make certain parts of life easier, but trying too hard to conform can prevent us from being true to ourselves. The desire to fit in is completely normal, but not fitting in can sometimes serve as a catalyst for self-reflection, self-discovery, and the opportunity to forge connections with those who see and appreciate our authentic selves. Deep down, we all understand that our true potential shines when we embrace who we really are without putting all our effort into molding ourselves to fit the expectations of others. Let these quotes on not fitting in help us have courage to unapologetically be who we truly are. So here we go. If you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. Maya Angelou. I came to terms with not fitting in a long time ago. I never really fitted in. I don't want to fit in. And now people are buying into that. Alexander McQueen. What makes you different or weird, that's your strength. Meryl Streep. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Andre Gide? Excuse me if I mispronounced your last name. The reward for conformity was that everyone liked you, except yourself. Rita Mae Brown. Your self-worth is determined by you. You don't have to depend on someone telling you who you are. Beyonce. Normal is not something to aspire to. It's something to get away from. Jodie Foster. In a world full of trends, I want to remain a classic. Iman. You're born an original. Don't die a copy. I like those. In my family growing up, my dad always used to say, because I used to feel weird, and go, people think I'm weird. and my dad and my mom always said, weird is good. Weird is good. And I said, what's good about it? Well, they said, just look at normal people. Weird is good. And they said, just look it up. Look at the root of that word. Weird means human, interestingly. And I've heard the spiritual journey of transformation described as becoming fully human. Most of us are only partially human, and the challenge is to become fully fully human on every level, which means with all of the divine aspects integrated. And I used to love, I love the classic horror films, and werewolves and vampires and all that as a kid. I'm over it. But werewolf, the word weir, which comes from the same root as weird, means human. So a werewolf is a human wolf. It's a hybrid or a mix of the two. And one other thing about that is later in life, as I was forming, I really dug existentialism for a while. And one of the leaders and fathers of existential psychology said that if normal, R.D. Laing is his name, okay, and he's a British psychiatrist who is as cool as they get. But I don't have time to talk about Laing. His book, The Politics of Experience, is a must-read if you're on the path of psychology. But he said sanity, the idea of sanity in our current world is based on being normal. If you're too out of the norm, you're considered insane. He said that's a ridiculous and wrong definition of sanity. He said if the normal human that we look at in the world today is the model of sanity, we're in trouble. And I thought, that's brilliant. That's so true. You want to add anything to any of that?
No.
So I thought it might help you, because if you're here with us tonight, you're probably not entirely normal. And you probably don't want to be. You want to be transformed. I got one other thing to share.
Who was that last quote by?
You're Born an Original, Don't Die a Copy was John Mason. Sorry, forgot to share. Sorry, John. One of my spiritual friends, whom I'm also mentoring, sent me this amazing quote, which, here it is, from Paramahansa Yogananda. And the last couple of weeks we've talked about karma. We've talked about sort of the collective load of karma that we take from our ancestors, from the world around us, the stuff we've created and brought into this life, and what it takes to be free from that. And you might be interested in hearing what the great God-realized Master Paramahansa Yogananda had to say about it. Just let this one sink in. Don't allow yourself to think you are forever bound by karma. Deny it. Whether your karma is good or bad, don't accept any karmic limitation. You have to have good karma to destroy bad karma. Then rise above them both. Give your karma to God. He will help you if you ask Him to. It isn't that we should seek special privileges, but if we have faith in God, all things are possible. It is His grace that counts. And that grace comes when we do our part to behave like children of God. Whenever you see you're not able to control your pains and troubles, keep trying. If you don't try, you'll never get anywhere. Never yield to pain and trouble. Every time something gets you down, get up again and say, I'm all right now. The minute you admit you can't do it, it's over. You've given the verdict that you are bound by karma. You are the judge. It doesn't matter what your troubles are. Why be forced to change by repeated deaths and rebirths? Why not change now? Why not give up moods when you know they're wrong? Why not rid yourself of anger? When you get mad, It is because somebody has put salt on your wounded ego. You will be a much better and happier person if you remain calm. Let others slap you or hate you, but never show anger in return. You will see then that nobody can touch you inwardly. Whenever anyone points out your mistakes, quietly correct yourself. That is the way to self-mastery. Sri Sri Paramahansa Yogananda, from his book, The Divine Romance, page 206 and 207. Nice, huh?
Very nice.
That's fresh. Like it. Always like that guy. So let's see what you folks have come up with. Well, Yekaterina loves the quotes and completely agrees. Well, maybe we've done too good a job because no one that is with us has any questions left. That was long enough to come up with a question. I think somebody asked the week before, how do you get rid of karma? And we talked about beings like Christ, who embraced the totality of human karma, went to the depths of collective human darkness and rose from there all the way through to the light and opened a door and opened a pathway that anyone who chooses to go that way can follow. And we talked about Kuan Yin, who as the first bodhisattva had this similar passion to help all the souls that were stuck in the dark realms and the darkness of the personal and collective karma to break free and rise into freedom, vowing never to leave us here and go into nirvana until all sentient beings had been liberated. Always loved Kuan Yin. Gayatri is a Hindu aspect of the divine that delivers and releases people from karma. So that question had come up, and we talked about it in various ways. And when my spiritual friends sent me that quote from Yogananda from The Divine Romance, they thought, that's rich. Very nice. And especially, and that part at the end about any time somebody like condemns you or criticizes you and you're hurt by it, they've just thrown salt on your wounded ego. And he counsels us to just, quietly take it, work on ourselves, and never to react in anger. Easier said than done. That's why he was named Paramahansa, which means swan-like one. It's a title given to a great liberated master who has divine grace like that.
I was having a conversation with a friend last night, and he said, "Did you know that one of the founding fathers, I can't remember which one it was, but had rewritten the Bible and took out all references to miracles to make it more palatable for some people that don't really follow that train of thought?" And I said, "That's really unfortunate."
Yeah, that's what I think. That's sad.
Because I've been really looking at perspective a lot on my spiritual path, and until we learn something new, all learning is unlearning, and until we learn something new, we don't have that in our framework or our wheelhouse. We don't know that things are possible. And so by discussing things like miracles and amazing things, it opens our eyes to new possibilities, to new ways of seeing the world. And it also prompts us to look at our belief systems when we say, oh, that's not possible, or, I don't think I can do that, or, when we have these programs in us to look at life in a certain way, that sometimes we just need to shift our perspective, somebody was talking to me the other day and said, I feel so stuck and so trapped, and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I threw out some suggestions of, well, you could always do this and you could always do that. It may not be the way you want it to be, but you're not stuck. You don't have total limitations. You can find workarounds. Sometimes we just need to shift our perspective a little bit to realize that there's something else out there that's possible. And so by sharing our miracles, we open other people's eyes, and we reinforce in our own life that miracles are possible. And he got really excited, and he said, I have a miracle. I had a miracle, a full legitimate miracle. And he told me the story, and I was like, see, they are possible. I said, Michael's witnessed some just mind-blowing, amazing miracles, and I've witnessed a lot of miracles, and I've come to realize that, you know, pretty much everything's a miracle if we slow down enough to see. If we slow down enough to see that everything that's taking, right now it's a miracle that there's trillions of cells all coordinating and talking together, keeping our bodies afloat and healing and rejuvenating, and just need to keep our consciousness out of it that tells it that it can't do certain things. So yeah, it's always a challenge when I hear things and it doesn't quite sit with my heart, and I have to look within and say, that doesn't quite resonate with my heart, and maybe there's a different way of looking at this.
Well, you were sharing that. That's beautiful. It reminded me of I think, one of the primary things that should take place in a satsang, which is sharing miracles, our miracles. Look, and what you said, everything's a miracle if you see it clearly. Einstein was asked if he believed, what he thought about miracles, and he said, there are one of two positions you can take. One is there are no miracles. And he wasn't a believer in God per se, and a lot of the things that he had a different perspective. I think he did believe in God, but he had a different way of looking at it. But he said either nothing is a miracle or everything is a miracle. He said, I choose the second option.
Right.
Einstein boldly said he believed that it was all a miracle. Carl Sagan, it wasn't Carl Sagan, it was Stephen Hawking, talking about the manifestation of the physical universe required 4 subatomic particles to be out of place. When the Big Bang took place, in his understanding, he was a pretty smart guy, smart physicist. If everything had been correctly aligned, when the bang took place, there would have been no universe, residual material universe left. But because of these 4 missing or misplaced subatomic particles in this Big Bang, gravity happened. And gravity is this mysterious force that's pulling everything together. I think that's at the heart of all that is. I think the original gravity is divine love, which, however the universe, however our consciousness may explode, expand, and get scattered, there's this mysterious gravitational pull that's drawing all of us back into oneness with the divine. And that gravitational source in the spirit is love.
Yeah.
That's divine love.
Yeah.
So,
I had a miracle happen today. I was out mowing the lawn. It was a little bit overcast, and I thought, well, it'll be less hot. It was like over 90 degrees, and I was already sweaty and red, and I'm mowing the lawn, and it started sprinkling, and I'm like, oh, that feels so good. And then it started raining, and then it started pouring, and our neighbors were driving down the street and seeing me and laughing and waving, and I was waving back, and part of me was saying I should just, finish this tomorrow or something, and then I would just change my perspective on it, and I went, when was the last time that I went out in the rain? When was the last time I just felt the rain all over my body and just, like a childlike playfulness with it? And it totally cooled me off. I'm like, this is the best time to mow your lawn in Florida in the summertime because I didn't get hot. And, some people would have gone running for indoors or been like, oh, no, it's raining, But that's another little example of just shifting your perspective on something.
Well, I thought a question like this might come up, Ekaterina. So I will share something, but when we come to satsang, especially when it's more of an intimate gathering. Although I feel very intimate with all you guys and gals out there. We try to look at the last week, at those moments where we could see the hand of the divine intervening. A miracle doesn't have to be I'll tell you some big deal, but a miracle can be very subtle. A very small thing. Like a friend of ours wondered if God was like really there, paying attention and involved in her life. And then up came these dolphins. Like, yeah. And she knew right away that was God speaking to her through nature, through creation, through the dolphins. And it was so important. Don't just, I've been inviting you to ask questions, and that's great. But if you see a miracle in your life where the divine clearly intervened for you, if you share it, that's what the divine wants us to do with it. I mean, one, be grateful. Number one, recognize that it happened. Okay? Because a lot of times our heads stuck in so many things that we're struggling with that those little moments of divine grace, we just forget about them and let them go by. So number one, notice those moments of divine grace and offer thanks to the divine. And when we do that, we're sharing our faith with other people, and they're inspired by, wow, if God did that for her, God might do that for me too. And faith begins to grow. The divine likes that because you're not just taking the little miracle and forgetting about it. You're noticing it, you're offering gratitude, and you're sharing it with others to encourage them and uplift them. When you begin to do that, the miracles, those little moments of divine intervention, become more and more frequent. And they begin to grow, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger until, as Suzanne said, everything is a miracle.
Oh, there was one more little part to my lawn mowing today. I thought, well, at least there's no thunder or lightning, and as long as there isn't any, then I could stay out. And there's usually thunderstorms in the afternoons in Florida in the
summer.
It
just started raining when she said that, which we learned in India is a sign of grace.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was funny too, was that I got the whole thing done without any lightning, no thunder. It was just beautiful downpour of rain, and it felt very cleansing and nurturing, and yeah, it's nice.
So Ekaterina said, Michael, could you tell us one miracle or more? Is always very uplifting for me. Well, okay, here's an outrageous one. I was as a young man, really outrageous. When I got on the path of God, I got radical. And I went through a period where I wandered barefoot in a robe and just slept in the woods. I didn't take any money. I didn't have any possessions. I'd wake up every morning and go, okay, what today? And I had so many adventures. So essentially I lived the life of a sadhu, just living in nature and wandering and letting the spirit take me where it would, barefoot, and eating what was offered, and I got rained on a lot, So it's not an easy lifestyle, but
it's a quick shower.
So when I was first learning the ropes, I started out alone, but God in His mercy, first little miracle, sent two brothers across my path that had been doing it for years. And they said, well, we'll show you a couple things. And I went, great. So I spent a few days with them, and they were tough, man. Their feet had calluses that were, so thick. They could walk on anything. I couldn't. I had just taken my shoes off, and I was a tenderfoot. Literally, I was a tenderfoot in a robe that was launching into this tough life. And I woke up this one morning with them, and there was a field before us. And they said, let's go. Well, the field was clay and flint rock, primarily, that had been plowed into furrows when it was wet. So there were these furrows that were peaked that were dried clay with flint rock. And
Well,
how
it's
do you
very sharp.
yeah. So how do you walk across this? How do you walk across that? They said, watch us. And those guys, they had such calluses. They just started walking from furrow to furrow, stepping on the flint, stepping on the peaked furrows, and yeah, they didn't skip a beat. They just like are prancing across this field, and I'm just standing there. I tried to put my foot out once, and it felt like I was being cut, and I was stuck. And so they're like 100 yards on the other side of this field, and they said, come on, Michael, let's get going. You know, we got an adventure ahead. And I went, I can't do it. Now, see, I did limit myself, but they neutralized that and said, yes, you can. And I said, how? And they said, stop looking down. Stop looking at the field and the rocks. Stop looking at your feet. Just look up, Michael, and take one step. And I did. So I looked up and I took one step, and I was 100 yards across the field standing with them. I was transported. Just like that. Now, if I could do that at will anytime I wanted, well, then it wouldn't be a miracle. Because a miracle is divine intervention. But that got my attention, because even if I did what they said, and I learned to stop looking down at the ground when I walked over glass and cities and hard places, but this was my first experience with tender feet. And I learned to just put my trust in the divine and take one step. The longest journey begins with a single step. And bam! I'd been transported. I've read about that, but my goodness. So there's a little miracle for you. That's enough. and don't try this at home.
Or do.
Or do. Because since then, we've walked on fire with Tony Robbins a couple of times. So these fire walkers, they put out these paths of fire, you know, about 15 yards of it, and maybe a yard wide, and they get the coals burning until it's about 2,500 degrees, which is enough to melt steel. And they say, just walk across it. You have to have your attention single upon, I think, God.
And don't look down.
Yeah, and Tony said, don't look down or you'll get third-degree burns,
right,
you know.
Your mind will kick in and be, this is impossible, and then your body responds and goes, oh, we can't do this.
So it was sort of similar, and I got to do it the first time with Tony right by my side. And he was waiting for the moment and he said, don't look down, just look straight ahead and take a step and keep going. It was just like those brothers years before when I was wandering barefoot. And the next thing I knew, I was walking on coals of fire at 2,500 degrees and didn't get a burn. Now, again, you have to have some preparation to do that. So do it with a really skilled fire walker if you have any intentions. Anyway, enough of that. You got anything you want to share?
No.
Okay, then. I think it's time to move on.
Okay.
Great question, Ekaterina. It's your turn next time, okay?
Bring us a miracle.
And again, they can be small, like
Right.
those dolphins waving at our friend, or the rain just in an auspicious moment, or it, you know? So just ponder. Just notice what's happening throughout your days. Pay attention, offer gratitude, share it with someone, and if you keep a prayer journal or something, write it down. And you can go back and go, oh, wow, that really happened? Because on a bad day, you tend to forget all those things.
And it's funny, too, because it can be something really small. Like I give thanks to the divine whenever I get one of those parking spots where you get to pull through, so when you leave, you just don't have to reverse. You know, I mean, little tiny things. It's always a chance to express gratitude and see that as something really special, even though it seems inconsequential to the bigger picture. But it's all the little things that add up to the bigger things.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and close your eyes and open your heart. How do I do that? Well, you are your heart and you're here. So invoke the presence, invite the presence, welcome the presence to flood your life, to help you, to free you, to transform you. The divine presence lives within you in all of its fullness. It's not just a drop of the divine. The entire Godhead is inside of you. The entire universe is inside of you. The outer world is a reflection of the universe within, and at its center is a God of pure, unconditional love and light. This divine at the center of your being is the most powerful being in the universe. It is all-knowing, all-wise, all love. It does not judge you. It loves you and yearns to embrace you with pure love and grace, miracles of transformation and freedom. This divine presence knows exactly what you need before you even know it, before you could ever ask. Just let go for now, knowing that this divine knows what you need and has the power and the wisdom to give it to you. Trust and open yourself and begin to receive the blessing of the divine to cause your heart to flower in oneness with the divine and with all that is. Drink in the light, the love, the grace. Breathe it in. Nothing for you to do just now, but receive. Allow. Just release the weight of that care. Allow the divine gravity to draw it into the heart of God along with you. Now imagine that we're all sitting in a circle together with our eyes closed. Lift up your hands with your palms open, facing forward, and let us together invite the divine to pour the flowering heart blessing through all of us to everyone else in the circle with you. As the divine presence flows through you to the others, it transforms you. And it's flowing back to you also through all the others in the circle. Let us hold the intention that the veil of illusion, of duality and separation that makes us feel separate from one another dissolves in the light of divine grace. Let us awaken together to the one love, the one light, the one heart, the one consciousness that is you and me and all of us. We are one and the same being, the same light. Let us hold the intention that we awaken together to our oneness with each other, with the divine, and with all that is. Now relax your hands somewhere in your lap. And when you're ready, open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne, and or me, whatever my name is. There's a joke we can't tell now. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes as we dive into the light meditation. In Sanskrit, it's called Nayana, Diksha, blessing that flows through the eyes. It truly flows through every pore of our being. In the light meditation, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of love and light and grace. Every part of our being, spirit, soul, and body, it flows through us to you now, especially through our eyes, the doorways of the soul. The light streams out through our eyes, in through your eyes into your heart of hearts, causing the light of awakening, the fires of divine love and divine union to burn brighter and brighter and brighter within you as you just relax and keep looking. for a few more minutes as the grace settles within you. Now you can keep meditating as long as you like, or lie down nearby in Shavasana, which is to lie on your back with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides, with your palms open, turned upward, and just let yourself dissolve in gratitude in the present. If you were with us this far, please give us a like or a love. If you're on Facebook, a heart or a thumbs up. We love to see your name. We love you so much. And until we cross paths again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine within you. And we bow to you. Namaste.